Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, thank you for tuning in once more to our virtual report, our Monday night forum, where we seek to bring to you issues affecting our country. I want to say a special good evening to the Honorable Political Leader, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar. I want to thank her for continuing in her struggle to bring transparency and accountability to our country, to return some semblance of normalcy in the face of the various crises facing us today as a country. To all of those who are tuning in from both here and abroad, I want to say, continue in the fight, continue in the struggle, and continue to stand with us as we hold this PNM government to account. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it is somewhat overused now when people say that we live in unprecedented times, and it is usually in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. But we are not only living in unprecedented times because of a virus, we are living in very dangerous times. We are living in a time where we are faced with rising crime, rising food prices, ever increasing levels of taxation on, ordinary hardworking citizens of this country. We are living in a time where your rights and freedoms are being circumscribed by laws that they say are meant to protect you from a virus, but we feel now more than ever that it's meant to protect them from hearing the voices of the people and from facing the anger and the frustration that people are feeling. We are hearing no solutions, we are hearing no proposals, we are hearing no plans and no policies to deal with the different aspects of hardship facing so many members of our society. But in the face of all of that, the most dangerous thing that I say is happening now, and I think it is sometimes people on the ground feel disconnected from this issue, but I want to say to you tonight, and I'm going to break it down very simply. What we are facing is assault and battery against our Constitution. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, is the most dangerous threat that we face today. It is more dangerous than the COVID-19 virus. It is more dangerous than any pandemic. We are facing a pandemic of dictatorship. We are facing a threat of, yes, not invisible just like the virus, but is the invisible incursion upon the rights and freedoms. It is the invisible assault on our democracy when the highest office holders of the land seek to abuse and disregard and throw away and simply breach our Constitution. And when we ask for answers, we are spoken to like little children, told that we don't need to know that. That is not your business. Do not ask those questions. I do not have to tell you. That is where we are today as a country, when those appointed to hold office, those who the taxpayers are paying to seek our interests and to act in the public interest, come out and tell you, well, you don't need to know that. I exercise judgment and you don't need to know, and I will not tell you my reasons, and that is all I will say. And that is supposed to be good enough for us as a people. I say to you tonight, brothers and sisters, it is not enough. It is not good enough. And if that is the approach that Keith Rowley and the PNM intend to take, then they must go. They must go. There are no two ways about it. They have lost their authority to lead this country by their actions, by their words, and by their behavior. Ladies and gentlemen, you would recall I mentioned it yesterday, and you would have seen our press releases and so on, but 33 years ago, there were people, some of them who are still in our party today, but there are people who stood in the rain in Arangwe Savannah with the hope that there would be a party to return good governance to this country, to fight for unity and equality and social justice. We have to keep up that fight. What we have here today is a prime minister who has now confessed to interfering in a legal process for the appointment of a commissioner of police. I said it again, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. When someone confesses and put themselves on a crime scene, it is because they know they have been caught. They have been caught, and I want to tell Keith Rowley that no amount of ranting, raving, distraction, foul language and disgusting behavior that you are known for is going to distract and take away from the fact that you interfered in the legitimate legal process for the appointment of a commissioner of police of this country. And today, because of your interference, the entire Police Service Commission has collapsed. Because of your interference and the incompetence of your Attorney General, we have no Commissioner of Police, we have no Acting Commissioner of Police, and we have no Police Service Commission who can appoint persons to that office, whether temporary or permanently. You have taken it upon yourself, because you have a personal problem, it appears, with the incumbent, who was the incumbent, the former commissioner, Mr. Gary Griffith. You took it upon yourself, as you have confessed a year ago, to writing letters to the Police Service Commission. You have confessed that you sent minutes of a National Security Council meeting to the Police Service Commission. And in all of those things, you sought really to derail, to subvert the process prescribed in the Constitution. The highest law of our land has been disobeyed by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister took it upon himself to interfere. He did not go through legitimate mechanisms to bring to the attention of law enforcement agencies, investigative authorities, and other independent institutions that he had a concern rooted in national security about a particular person. He writes a letter and sending it with pigeon or something for Blissy Prasad, his appointed Police Service Commission, who he found serving on a PNM state board, and put her to head the Police Service Commission. And if that isn't bad enough, he had communication with Blissy Prasad that was never disclosed, apparently, to the other members of the Service Commission. Keith Rowley took it upon himself to give this information to Ms. C. Prasad, and apparently Ms. C. Prasad, and I don't know whether he instructed her, whether he influenced her, or if she's just so mad that she decided that she would take certain actions, communicate with certain persons, and do certain things, including suspending Mr. Gary Griffith from his acting appointment without consulting other members of the Service Commission. I say tonight that that is misbehavior in public office, and it must be investigated. And I call upon those who have the power to do so to initiate an investigation into the conduct of Ms. Blissy Prasad. She has certainly overstepped her bounds, and no amount of resignation and hiding from the public eye will take away the fact that what Blissy Prasad did was wrong. And the persons who influenced her, encouraged her, induced her to do so are also guilty of serious offenses under our law. Now, I want to remind the public that it was last year around this time. The Prime Minister gave us the timeline. He said it was a year ago that he started writing letter to the Service Commission about Gary Griffith. Last year around this time, Mr. Gary Griffith stood up to Keith Rowley when he started to talk about why the police don't go in and enforce the public health regulations. You see, Keith Rowley is suffering from a lack of good legal advice. That is the problem, in the person of his advisor, Faris Alwari, the landlord of the state, but not the lawyer of the state. Keith Rowley wanted Gary Griffith to go into people's homes under the public health regulations and lock up people for breaching the regulations. And Gary Griffith stood up to him and said, no, I cannot do that. The country is not under a state of emergency. Now, I think that they have sorted the issue out now. I think that Mr. Griffith was right. In fact, I think I publicly supported him at that time to say that he was very correct in his interpretation of the law. And it is unfortunate that the Commissioner of Police has to correct the government on the interpretation of the law. The government has since, I think, admitted that they were wrong, and they have instigated a state of emergency. But it appears that if Rowley said jump, and you don't ask how high a woman left foot, right foot, balize down the road, he will lose confidence in you and start writing letters against you to the Service Commission. Fast track now, we heard that two people that they pick up somewhere, I don't know if they are Rowley's friends, I don't know who they are, one Barrington and another Pritchard, men who are retired, they don't work for the state, they don't work for the government, they don't work for any agency of law enforcement anymore. And Mr. Hines, in answering a question in the Parliament, said that they were sent on a fact-finding exercise. But he said that they went into the field and interviewed persons and spoke to who they had to speak to, purely to advise the National Security Council. What we are hearing now is that the minutes of a National Security Council meeting, which we could only assume is based on whatever these two gentlemen gave to the National Security Council, was sent to the Police Service Commission. And this was done at a time when the Police Service Commission was engaged in the process of recruitment and selection for the Office of Commissioner of Police. So rather than send the information to the Police Complaints Authority, to the Professional Standards Bureau, to the Director of Public Prosecutions, who could then liaise with the appropriate police officers to investigate this information, we have unverified information collected by a person or two people that Prime Minister Rowley handpicked and sent to do investigation, and he takes it and gives it to the chairman of the Police Service Commission, and all hell breaks loose, and the whole process of getting a merit list delivered to the president and getting that onto the parliament via notification is subverted, scrapped, mashed up out the door. Now, let's take it one step further, because I don't have much time to go through all of this, but I have to take it now to the actions of Madam President. Madam President, with the greatest of respect, I have to say that your statement yesterday really, it appears that when you start to answer questions with questions, it means that you're really avoiding the question. Now, you put a number of questions to us based on what you say was apparently credible information that may impact deliberations on what should the Police Service Commission do and so on. Well, I want to tell you tonight what the Police Service Commission should do if they get information, whether it be from Tom, Dick, Harry Lal or Rowley, is that they should send it to the appropriate authorities to investigate. Whether that information meets the threshold for consideration, that is not for Blissy Passad. It is not even really for you, with the greatest of respect, Madam President, Your Excellency. It is for law enforcement agencies who conduct proper investigations, who are clothed with the authority to conduct investigations, not like Pritchard and Barrington and them who agree to do a freako work for Rowley to determine whether information is credible or not. You asked about the mechanism by which this information that comes to the attention of the Commission, if it is not for the Parliament and so on. Well, Madam President, Your Excellency, yes, it is for a debate in the Parliament. That is what the Constitution says. That is what our Constitution prescribes. When in 2006 the power of veto was removed from the Constitution in relation to the Office of the Commissioner of Police, and this is very important, a decision was taken to remove that power of veto that exists for other offices in the public service, many other offices. The reason being is that we did not want a politician in the person of the Prime Minister to be able to say, I am what a person as police commissioner, and have no reason for it and have no accountability to the people. Because the person who sits in the Office of Commissioner of Police has the power to investigate anybody, including the Prime Minister, including his friends who get $100 million settlements. Who are supposed to be still under investigation today. And you will hear more about that from us in days to come. Because Mr. Griffith did say that the AV drilling investigation was not closed, even though Petrotrin decided to settle the arbitration. We don't know if that has something to do with all this letter writing and information, all of that, but we have to explore all the possibilities, because we are not getting the information and the answers that we want. So when the power of veto was removed, it was for exactly that. It was exactly so that you do not have a Prime Minister knowing that he or his friends or his cabinet members are being investigated to simply say, I don't want that person. You must bring the notification to the Parliament, and you must stand up in the Parliament and debate it. So all your feelings and your sentiments and your loss of confidence and your judgment and your Mongoose Gang report and all of those things, Keith Rowley, you were supposed to bring it to the Parliament. Now, Madam President, what you have effectively done by disobeying the Constitution and not sending the notification on to the Parliament is that you have allowed Keith Rowley to escape that accountability mechanism that is built in to Section 123 of the Constitution. And it is wrong, Madam President. It is wrong. You acted against the best interest of the population, and you have given Keith Rowley an escape route. I want to say tonight, you have raised, Madam President, certain concerns about whether the Parliament is the appropriate forum and so on. Well, I want to put some questions. on the record. Do you think it is right for a Prime Minister to send information collected by two persons who have no authority to the Police Service Commission chairman? Do you think that the National Security Council should be appointing ordinary citizens to investigate a Commissioner of Police or any other person who is applying for that job, and have that information sent to the Police Service Commission to disturb the legal process for the appointment of a Commissioner of Police? Do you think the PSC should have gotten a proper report from law enforcement when these concerns were brought to their attention before they acted? Do you think that the National Security Council should usurp the functions of the PCA, the Professional Standards Bureau, and the DPP? Do you think it is right for the Police Service Commission chairman to act without consulting other members of the commission? Do you think that the legally prescribed process for the appointment of a commissioner of police prescribed by our constitution should be scrapped because somebody write a letter or sent some minutes or had some communication with Ms. Blissy Prasad not in writing, according to Roger Kewal Singh? Do you think the Police Service Commission had legal authority to withdraw a merit list that was submitted to you? Do you think that you had the authority, Madam President, to not send that notification to the Parliament? Your Excellency, do you think you had the authority, or do you think that you should have stepped in and intervened and not allowed the Police Service Commission to simply withdraw a merit list when it was sent to your office? It is frightening. It is frightening, to say the very least, that something like that could be done. It is even more frightening that we have public officers going on affidavits in two separate matters before the court and have given different accounts of what transpired. In one of those affidavits, in the matter of Ravi Balgobin Miraj, the acting director of personnel administration said on the 12th of August, a merit list was sent to the president. And the deputy director in the matter involving Mr. Anand Ramesa said that the Police Service Commission withheld the merit list because they want to have some security report prepared and so on. So she has confirmed that to date, there is no security report before the Police Service Commission. And yet they decided that they will not submit the merit list, and that's according to her. But now you are telling us, Madam President, that the merit list came to you and that it was withdrawn. Under what legal authority, we do not know, and that is very dangerous. And I want to say that whereas the ordinary citizen of this country may not understand the implications of this and how it affects their lives, let me tell you something. A government, a public official who could ignore the highest law of this land, the Constitution, today is Gary Griffith or some other person on that merit list who they wanted to get at and who they wanted to raise concerns about and so on. Today it is them. Today it is our merit list to deal with the Police Service Commission and the Commissioner of Police. But tomorrow it could be you. It could be you, a public servant applying for a job, and some public official could interfere in your promotion or your appointment or your disciplinary proceedings. Today it could be the high-handedness of public officials dealing with the Commissioner of Police and his appointments. But tomorrow it could be the high-handedness when it comes to coming into your home, affecting your rights and your liberties, affecting what you could do, the rights of your children. Right now, we have children being deprived from attending classes, and the government is doing nothing to address those very legitimate concerns. There's high-handedness, illegality, and dictatorship emanating from this government. And that is why this matter is of such grave concern. It is not about the person. We must forget about the person and who he is and whether we like him or we don't like him or what they did and whether they were right or they were wrong. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with process and procedure and following the law. We stand, the United National Congress has said time and time again that we stand in support of the rule of law. Because the day that the rule of law goes by the way, we are heading down a track of which there's no return. That takes us down a road where every single one of us are in danger of losing our liberty. Brothers and sisters, I want to leave you tonight with a message of hope. I want to leave you tonight with the message that all is not lost. The United National Congress is a beacon of hope for this country. Kamla Prasad-Desessa is a leader with a proven track record of acting in the best interest of all the people of this country. And that is what this country is yearning for right now. That is the type of leadership we are crying out for right now. I want to say that we remain undaunted in the House of the Rising Sun. We will continue to hold this government to account. We will use every legal opportunity and legal method of recourse that we have to challenge the illegality, the high-handedness, and the dictatorship of the PNM government. And we will bring once more peace, order, and good governance back to our beloved Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you and good night.